The Russians came to us in 2 columns. There were 7 months of hell here. They said they had found torture chambers. I don't know how people could do that. Mother asked, just remove your weapons. No, and they went from house to house with this machine gun pointed at children. Were you afraid of the Russians? Yes. Why? They were just with weapons. And you were scared? Yes. One of the most damaged villages in Kharkiv region is Hrakove, which was under occupation since the first days of the war. The Russians came to us in 2 columns. One column went down Olenia Street and the other down Peremohi Street. At the crossroads, they stopped and shot from machine guns. There were a lot of them. There weren't just tanks, there was military equipment. There were a lot of people. All of them had machine guns. Everyone was very scared. People were lying down, running away, hiding. And when the Russians, went to the center, I heard the shots and thought, this must be our school because the flag is always there on the flagpole. We didn't think they would stay with us for so long. Well, we didn't think so, but they settled. On the 25th, they walked along the streets like the masters, robbed the store and so on. They settled in a school. It was probably their headquarters or something. I don't know for sure. And on the 26th, they were already coming into the houses. They jumped over the fence of our house. Phones were taken away. My husband and I were taken to the house. I was taken into the one room, my husband in another. Everything here is now Russia. Russian soldiers went, took people's phones, set in order to check. They went to the houses, checked the documents. They asked everyone to put the phones out. The phones were taken away forever. First, they took the touch ones, as if for verification. After a while, they came and wanted to pick up even the button ones so that there was no connection at all. It was forbidden to talk. The phones were hidden. People called whenever they could, hiding somewhere, and told what was happening, at least 2 words. Well, terrible things. These are terrible things, as for me and as for mother. When people were taken with bags on their heads. That was my graduate. Our graduate is the older boy, and the girl is still studying at school. I don't know. I don't know how people could do it. People just couldn't do that. These are machine gun shots. This is when they enter a house with a gun machine where 3 small children, preschoolers, are sitting. The mother is asking, just remove the weapon. We hid in the cellars. Well, what's in the cellar? It's cold, you can't stay there for a long time. The younger son was crying all the time. It was very, very difficult. We had no light and there was no gas. They shot constantly and the light disappeared constantly. Only one person from the village was allowed to go away for bread. The permission had to be taken. That person hung a white flag and drove for bread. They were constantly looking for spies. They constantly thought that someone betrayed, necessarily necessary. If someone had something about someone, they could imprison, take away until the circumstances were clarified. People tried not to go out without a serious reason. When they started taking men, some were taken to Balakliya, others were kept in basements somewhere. I know that on the 26th, all the people who could go to the center, all the men, were captured and taken to the school, and there they were treated. Of course, they put them face down, asked about their place of work, and so on. That's how it was. The worst thing was that they were shooting people. We had a man named Pak here. They came to him and asked him for a car. But he said, a van. He had a van, but he said, take the car, but there is no fuel in it. They took him outside at night and shot him, and his wife saw that. They took away. We had Oleksai, who worked in the boiler room. He was also taken away, and we still can't find him. Nobody knows anything. Many people have disappeared. Later, when our people entered the village, the military told us that they found torture chambers. They found torture chambers in the basements. After the village was liberated from the Russian invaders, the Lyceum's director, Yana Sherevashenko, was shocked by what she saw. This is a torn flag that was burned and mocked. Our posters were destroyed. School desks were destroyed. New school desks were destroyed. The equipment was destroyed. The equipment was taken away. We didn't find any laptop or interactive whiteboard. It had been developing like the rest of Ukraine. We had a new Ukrainian school. It was built according to its standards, but when we arrived, I could not even imagine such a horror. That it could happen, that people could do such things. Destroyed houses, mutilated destinies. The most of the territory of the village and the community is still mined, and people are still killed by the explosions. According to Anatoliy Korovkin, the head of the Hrakove district, more than 40 houses, including 2 apartment buildings, were completely destroyed. But despite everything, people are returning, planting gardens, settling in the houses that remained miraculously, and hope for the best. We came back. We eventually decided not to let the remains of our house die. We planted a garden. We will harvest. We will live on in some way.